So let's record the session now. What of our January 15 session? Our agenda, as mentioned here, is Philippine Accounting Standards 1, PFRS 13 for fair value measurements, PAS 37 for contingency estimated liabilities, and PAS 7 is for the statement of cash flows. I'll start my presentation now. I hope you can see my PowerPoint. Ayan. Ilang pa Manila class. You can already see the PowerPoint presentation for Philippine Accounting Standards 1. So, Philippine Accounting Standards 1 is all about the presentation of financial statements. So, reporting, statement of the financial statements presentation. So, the content is all about the different financial statements, of course, we're gonna encounter here, and gonna enumerate the different principles related to financial statements. Okay, so these are the learning objectives from the general features and content of financial statements and the different forms and records as far as past one is concerned. So as one is the standards that prescribes the basis for the presentation of, as mentioned ng mga introduction part natin, we are preparing general purpose financial statements to improve comparability both with the entities, financial statements of previous periods, when we talk about previous periods, intra-comparability yun ng information, and with the financial statements of other entities, ang tawag naman natin doon ay intercomparability. So in past one, all the general guidelines and basics that we need for the disclosures and preparation of the complete set of financial statements. Dito siya nakikita. And as mentioned last time, di ba, in past one as well, general purpose ang usapan na financial statements. So the complete set of the financial statements can be found. The details can be found in past one. So in financial accounting, in auditing problems, lahat yun ay general purpose. Last time when we talk about special, we talk about taxation, management accounting reports, no? And other internal reports. So, general purpose muna ang past one over other special information. These are the complete set of the financial statements in the introduction last time we saw. Next lang naman sila, 1 to 5. When it comes to disclosure sa phase ng financial statements, pag sinabi natin phase, yung number 1 to 4, may amounts. There is a disclosed quantifiable information. You disclose it in the phase of the financial statements. In short, yung mga may amounts or numbers from 1 to 4. When we said that we disclose it qualitatively, only the qualitative information available, any supporting facts or information, and supporting computations, the basis of the accounting standards. Number 5, notes disclosure. So, saan nakakita ang mga supporting computations? Number 5, the notes to financial statements. The additional one, the comparative statement of financial position here for the succeeding periods, no? We can disclose further any previous period na statement of financial position. Okay? So, fair presentation and compliance, we talk about the different accounting principles na involved sa past one. And number 2, di ba, going concern assumption. Review. Ano ang ibig sabihin ng going concern assumption natin? For as long as the business operations, business transactions are continuous, there's no sign of liquidation or bankruptcy, the accounting cycles, the accounting processes should continue. Going concern assumption. And others, nabanggit na natin ito mga to last time, pero as a review, accrual basis of accounting is practically the basis of what accounting information is all about as to the presentation and the reporting. Accrual, syempre, we prepare the financial statements based on accrual basis. We recognize the income when we earn the income, not when we receive the income. We recognize expenses when we incur the expenses, not when we pay the said expenses. So, accrual basis muna pag walang ibang sinabi. Materiality and aggregation. Materiality is a case-to-case basis. What is material should be disclosed further in our financial statements. And aggregate, the aggregated amount, it means the total amount is being reported or presented as well. Similar items that can be aggregated together, aggregation principle na similar by nature and can be combined together, diba? Like CGU, cash generating units, are combined and reported together, aggregation. Offsetting, general rule, is it allowed in Philippine Accounting Standards 1? Are we allowed to do offsetting? Answer, no. Kasi nga, assets and liabilities are separately reported. There are exceptions. So, assets, expense, liable, and other elements should not be offset unless required by PFRS or the accounting standards. Exceptions, yun, sa financial instruments, sa accounts receivable, sa costs ng PPEs, di ba? The contra-asset accounts can be deducted or we offset things. Also with the bonds payable, investment in bonds, any premium or discounting side, we get the net amount. Okay? Frequency, ito, pag tinanong, ano ba ang duration lagi ng financial statements reporting pag walang sinabi, pag walang other accounting cycle or accounting practices for the entity, sabi ng past one, at least annually. So 1 year. No? Depende kung 12 months, ending December 31, calendar year, any dates, basta 12 months sa fiscal year. No? The frequency, at least annually pag walang sinabi. Kailan pwedeng magpalit? As one states some important information for a certain entity to change the frequency and the duration and the coverage of the financial statements. Pero yun nga, sa general rule, pag walang sinabi, we present and report at least annually. No? When the entity changes the end of the reporting period and presents, FX can be longer or shorter. Kailan ba siya permitted or allowed? Number one is the entity shall disclose that the period covered by the financial statements, the reason, no? Usually kasi by nature of the entity and the nature of the transactions, minsan industry siya involved, ganun. Minsan may seasonal, minsan may special transactions. So sometimes, in practice, it allows, no? It permits na longer or shorter, pero dapat sabihin muna. Kasi kung hindi, dapat annual for 12 months to shorten. Number three, the facts that amounts presented in the FS are not entirely comparable. So, if not entirely comparable, ay kailangan ay sinasabi rin natin kung sakali nagpalit lang naman. Kung hindi naman siya nagpalit, we follow the as accountants na 12 months span and coverage na report natin information. Okay? Comparative reporting. So we can compare the financial statements that we prepare if in the previous periods and in the succeeding one, we use the accounting standards, the same accounting standards applicable to the transactions and the reports. Number 8, consistency of representation. O pag inventories talaga siya under past 2, talagang by definition of the inventories hanggang further succeeding reports or periods ay we are presenting it as inventories. No? So consistency of preparation. Unless by definition or by nature, by disclosures based on the accounting standards na coverage ng element na yun or ng account na yun, sinabi na hindi na siya nagfo-fall under the set standards, pinapalitan natin. Consistency is not violated in that aspect. No? Example, sa PAS 16, PPE, and the rest of the investment accounts, the investment property, investment associates and subsidiaries, di ba? Si associate, kailangan significant influence para investment in associate siya. So, dapat may features na more than 20% yung ownership or yung interest natin. Pero failure to show na may significant influence, bumabalik siya na typical investment in equity securities lang. Hindi na siya under investment in associate. Baka PFRS 9 or PAS 32. Reporting na lang siya for investment in equity securities. No? Consistency of presentation. So, ano yung ginagamit accounting standards? Ano yung naging basis ng different accounts or elements? Yun ang ginagamit at in the succeeding periods as well. Kailan na ang pang number 6, additional statement of financial position. This is presented as at the beginning of the previous or preceding period when the entity applies any accounting policy retrospectively. Retrospective means past periods, no? Past periods yung affected. Retrospective application. And, or makes a retrospective restatement of items in the financial statements or reclassifies items in the financial statements. Doon lang daw necessary yun na may number 6. May additional statement of financial position. Doon lang daw, ito yung mga scenarios or cases na report or din-disclose pa natin kung ending 2024, yung mga FS natin, isinasama pa natin yung 2023 na statement of financial position. Yung pang number 6 kanina. So, these are the following scenarios or mga transactions that became a reason bakit may pang-anim na previous statement of financial position. And the different effects of the event to the statement of financial position at the beginning of the preceding period. If it is material, kung may changes nga daw kasi, if it affects the present period, disclose pa natin yung previous one. Okay? Let's talk about the first FS, the statement of financial position. So sabi rito, it may be presented as either classified or unclassified. Pag sinabing classified, the presentation ng balance sheet or ng statement of financial position under PAS 1, yung ginagawa sa Pilipinas. Na may current assets, may current liabilities, current liab, and the rest. Kaya nga classified. We classify based on the duration, tama? Current assets and non-current assets. Pero, gaya sa Europe and other Western countries, unclassified based on liquidity. Based on liquidity, walang section for current assets, walang for non-current assets, and the rest of the classification, no? Unclassified. Based on liquidity lang, so online cash, and the rest of the liquid assets from different securities, from different receivables. Liquidity yung basis kasi, no? Unclassified presentation. Sa Pilipinas, we are following classified. Pero yung sinasabi ng PAS 1 dito is that walang strict rule na pag hindi mo prepare under classified presentation ay we violated PAS 1 reporting false, no? Walang standard. So true ang sagot doon, no? Or walang strict rule na dapat classified lang. Walang strict rule na mali tayo pag unclassified. No? Sabi ng PAS 1, para so masama yung disclosures natin, ito yung mga elements ng FS, mapa-classified or unclassified would depend on the needs of the entity or the nature of the different transactions and activities. Okay? So okay lang yan daw pareho, na classified and classified. Sa practice lang talaga kasi natin ay talagang may ka-classify natin siya as current or non-current, classified yung naging practice. Okay, sabi naman ng PAS 1, both, no? Either. Okay lang. Review, definition of what is a current asset. Under pass one, malamang first, it expects to realize that the asset or it intends to sell or consume it within the normal operating cycle. No? Normal operating cycle ang number one basis. Number two, pag ang asset is for trading, for the purpose of trading, pag usapang trading, current na agad, no? Kasi day-to-day transaction when it comes to the stock market, it changes. The prices changes, no? The different transactions pertaining to trading, no? Parang ang synonymous dyan or connected is like day-to-day transactions. Number three, pag wala namang normal operating cycle na number one basis, we expect to realize the asset within 12 months after the reporting period. So yung nakalimutan yung after. Sa mga theories and CQ questions nakasulat minsan before, right? So pick the correct definition minsan. So pag pinalitan ko yung before, ay pag pinalitan ko yung after ng before, nagkakamali na. Sabi kasi nga, 12 months after the current reporting period. So kung nag-report natin ay current assets ng year 2024, pag marirealize pa daw natin yung assets until December 31, 2025, current assets pa daw siya. Yun yung minsan nakakalimutan natin ng fundamental or basic sa theory side. No? So this year plus 12 months ng next year, current asset pa daw. Number four, the asset is cash or cash equivalent unless the asset is restricted from being exchanged or used to settle a liability for at least 12 months after the reporting period. Usually, yung mga exceptions to the rules yan, no? Na binabanggit ng past one. Yung mga may konting restrictions, may konting guidelines for that. Later, magdadaanan natin lahat yan, no? Kung current pa talaga siya or dapat non-current siya. Pero for now, we stick na pag within the normal operating cycle, what is normal operating cycle? The moment we purchase the inventory, we process the inventory, we manufacture such and sell the inventory, then we collect the sale or the receivable from it, current assets. Current liability, babalik rin lang natin. Ganun din pa rin naman, pero it expects to settle the liability in its normal operating cycle. It holds liability primarily for the purpose of trading. The liability is due to be settled, ganun din, no? Within 12 months after the reporting period. However, sa liability, sabi rin niya, number four, current daw siya if the entity na may liability nun does not have an unconditional right to defer settlement of the liability. Wala sa entity, wala dun sa umutang daw ang karapatan para i-extend ang pagbabayad ng utangan. Pag gano'n ang kaso, wala sa atin, tayo may liability, tayo may utang, wala sa atin yung right or authority para extend ang pagbabayad, current liability pa rin daw siya. For at least 12 months after the reporting period. No right to defer. Defer means extend natin yung pagbabayad natin, di ba? Pero if we requested, but it happened before the reporting period, ayan, we can extend, so pwede siya maging non-current liability pa rin, no? But ang nagpapalit na term here was after, no? Kasi pag after, hindi na na-approve, current talaga siya. Kailangan currently maturing, babayaran na talaga, no? Current life siya. Pero di ba may mga theory questions, dito sa number 4, ang pinalitan nga is before. Kung na-approve naman siya or napayagan na may right tayo to defer or i-delay yung bayad, na roll over natin siya. Remember the term in the liability accounting, we roll over the settlement, naging non-current siya before the reporting period. So, minsan, there are currently maturing long-term liabilities. Yung mga non-current 10 years ago, and 10 years after, ngayon ay kasampung taon, ay current liability na siya. General rule, malamang current liability ang reporting niyan. Exceptions, ito nga, pag may refinancing agreement, kung may refinancing agreement, kung narinig nyo na sa liability accounting, and is fully completed on or before the balance sheet date, ano ang classification ng liable? Non-current liable. Refinancing hindi ka makabayad ngayon ng liability, currently maturing na siya, pag-refinancing at na-approve on or before the end of balance sheet date, non-current ulit siya. Long-term ulit siya babayaran. Refinancing pinangkulong ng refinancing agreement, right? Basta completed on or before the balance sheet date. Kasi kung number one na exception naging after, ano ang reporting yan? Pag after nakasulat, current liabilities. Next, the financial agreement after the balance sheet date, pero before the financial statements are authorized for issue. Ano sabi rito? Non-current liability pa rin naman daw siya. So, na-roll over pa rin siya. If the entity expects and has a discretion to refinance on a long-term basis. So, yung right or yung control ay nandoon sa entity na umutak, no? May right siya to roll over the liability basta kahit after the reporting period, but before the authorization ng FS, sabi niya rito, ang reporting ng liable ay non-current liability. Other exceptions, the breach of the loan agreement. Ano ba ibig sabihin nito sa liability accounting? Pag breach of loan agreement, malamang ang loans mostly ay long-term, right? So, there are certain rules na fina-follow doon sa contract of, let's say, the non-current liability. Pero, if we violated such agreements in the contract, hindi tayo sumunod na ito lang dapat ang sales level natin, ito lang talaga ang dapat na ibebenta, or mga credit sales natin and others, no? There's a breach. May hindi na sunod na usapan. Automatic, nagiging current liability dapat. Yung liability sa financial statements natin. So, exception to the rule, it is presented pa rin naman daw as non-current liability if the lender provides the entity on or before the balance sheet date, the so-called grace period. No? So kung tinatawag ka naman daw ng creditor natin, ikaw yung may liability, ikaw ng breach of loan agreement, and the said grace period was approved or provided on or before the balance sheet date, a grace period and at least some months after the balance sheet date to rectify breach of loan covenant or agreement. Loan covenant represents loan agreements. So kung pinatawad ka naman, at meron kang 12 months for you to comply again. So sabi ng past one, non-current liability pa rin daw ang presentation. Okay? How about the deferred taxes? So there is a certain chapter for accounting for income taxes. Whereas you can be able to compute the deferred tax assets and deferred tax liabilities. Anong sabi ng reporting or presentation yan? Under past one, they are all non-current items. Regardless though of the settlement, no? Sabi niya rito, irrespective of their expected dates of reversal under past one. So, kahit next year siya isa-settle, deferred tax asset, deferred tax liability, next year siya makakolek, deferred tax asset, and others. Basta daw, ang deferred, ang DTA, saka DTL, non-current, sabi ng standards. Sabi ng past one yan, no? Irregardless. So, regardless kung kailan siya i-settle or kukolektahin and others. Kasi nga, ang nature nito nag-arise sa not the typical income tax expense computation. It arises from other nature and standards. No? These are the minimum line items to be presented in the statement of financial position. Ito ay wala namang bago, paso no? From usually, mga line items lang naman lahat yan na based dun sa kanya-kanya accounting standards sila. No? From PPE, down to investment property, intangible assets, the different financial assets under PFRS 9, investments accounted under equity method, gaya ng investment in subsidiaries, no? Accounted under equity method, biological assets, inventories, and other financial instruments. From cash and assets subject to disposal, or ito, letter J, nakakalimutan minsan, assets classified as held for sale. Kasi sa Financial Accounting 3, non-current asset held for sale siya, right? Dahil held for sale siya, in accordance with the PFRS 5, hindi siya non-current itself. Talagang current asset siya kasi nga ibebenta na yung non-current asset. No? Letter J. Kaya nagpo-fall siya under current asset. Moving forward, pag-usapang liabilities, makikita natin, no? From trade and other payables, L provisions came from estimated liabilities. Napag-uusapan natin later, no? And ito na yung past 12 for income taxes. And the deferred tax amounts, no? The non-controlling interest, letter Q. Ano yung non-controlling interest, letter Q, is part of the shareholders' equity reporting. And any issued capital and reverses attributable to the owners of the parent. So business combination side, parent and subsidiary. So what is the order or format of presentation? Dapat ba pag sa balance sheet, report form? Pag report form, sabi diba, inuuna natin susulat yung assets, then liabilities and capital sa kasunod niya. Pag account form, ang itsura ng balance sheet natin, left side, assets, right side, liabilities and equity. Sabi ng past one is does not prescribe any formats when it comes to the financial statements. Basta nga, nami-meet natin yung definition ng different elements ng FS. Nami-meet din natin yung expected set, complete set of the financial statements to be reported. No? Format-wise, walang prescribe or walang strict rule kung ano ang dapat na format lang. No? Next, FS is the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. No? Dito, nagsama yung dalawang alam natin na financial statements or yung basic na financial statements. Yung income statement dati, sa past one, ang tinatawag na ngayon is the statement of profit or loss and the 5 other comprehensive income items. So pag nagsama si income statement plus the 5 OCI items, ang tawag, sabi ng past one, single statement of profit or loss and OCI. Okay? However, in two statements, yun nga, ito yung sinabi natin kanina, pwedeng, yung number one, dyan sa two statements na nakasulat is the typical income statement. And number two is the 5 components of OCI. So, pwedeng pagsamahin, pwedeng, usually, dapat magsama naman talaga sila kung may OCI items. Sa number one talaga siya nagpo-fall. Pero kung wala naman, talagang income statement lang yung nape-present natin. In Basel, there are no extraordinary items accounted na binabanggit, no? Just in case you still encounter an old question talking about extraordinary items, it is prohibited, therefore should not be reported. Wala natin ginagamit sa bookkeeping side or recording phase na extraordinary items or accounts, no? We can accept miscellaneous, right? Other income, other expenses, miscellaneous income and expenses. Extraordinary item? No. So, anong laman ng OCI? So, review, hindi naman nagpalit yan for past one, yun na lagi. No? There are 5 items under other comprehensive income part or statement. And take note, by make sure this should be reflected in the equity, the shareholders' equity. Ano? Na nakahiwalay siya sa equity side. If we're gonna prepare the statement of retained earnings, and we know that the result ng income statement, the profit or loss, syempre pasok din siya sa equity, right? Same with OCI na naka-reflect din siya in a single amount. So, una, changes in the valuation surplus. B, unrealized gains and losses on investments in fair value through OCI, securities. C, remeasurement of the net defined benefit liability or asset. So, net defined benefits, pag asset, subject to nakabawas, pag liability nakadagdag. Gains and losses arising from translation ng Forex. Pag Forex gain, nakadagdag. Pag Forex loss, nakabawas. And ineffective portions of gain and loss on hedging instruments. So, So connected sa derivatives, hedging accounting. So investments na topics. Cash flow, under cash flow hedge. So ito yung lima. No? If we're gonna summarize, ayun, pure G. No? Or, ayun, C, changes, unrealized, or remeasurement, gains and losses, and E, depende kung anong mnemonic yung mas matandaan na yun yung lima. No? Items under OCI. Okay? Under equity as well. Sa limang OCI items, ano ang pwedeng i-reclassify? Here are the answers. No? So, reclassification means pwedeng ilipat from OCI side pupunta sa P&L side. Sabi rito, A and B, changes in the valuation surplus, hindi. Remeasurements of the net defined benefit, hindi. Pero fair value changes in fair value OCI ng mga investments, depende. Pag debt instruments siya or bonds, mandatorily, pwede. Pag equity instrument, should not be yun, reclassified. No? Pag ginawang option lang ng entity yun, na fair value measured through OCI, tapos equity instrument lang siya. Sabi dyan ay hindi rin i-reclassify. Pag debt instrument ay pwedeng ma-reclassify. Okay? Forex. Pwede. Letter D, no? Translation adjustments sa Forex, foreign operations. Pwede. And letter E, effective portion of cash flow hedge. Pwede daw siyang ma-reclassify. Therefore, the profit or loss, profit plus OCI represents the total comprehensive income. No? Yun yung laman ng statement of comprehensive income na sinasabi. Or the so-called statement of profit or loss and OCI. The final answer or total is the total, or the total is this one, the total comprehensive income. Okay? Expenses, may presentation daw siya. Nature of expense method or function of expense method. If an entity classifies expense by function, it shall disclose additional information on the nature of expenses. No? Sa atin, ang ginagawa natin yung under nature of expenses because nakaiwalay si cost of goods sold sa selling expenses and administrative expenses. Dividends. Dividends declared by the entity are disclosed either in the notes, di ba kasi ang dividends declaration siya, date of declaration, notes or the statement of changes in equity. Huh? So pwedeng notes, pwedeng statement of changes in owner's equity. Sabi yan. Ito ay notes to FX kasi mamaya may hiwalay tayong standards for the statement of cash flows past 7. Huh? Ito, anong laman ng notes ito? May mga theory questions about this eh. Which of the following is or are part of notes to FS? May Roman numeral 1 to 4 yan, di ba? Usually. So, review, these are the contents of the notes to FS in order. Number 1, the statement of compliance with PFRS. Kung ano yung applicable niyang accounting standards. So, na we are complying and following the set accounting standards na pag PFRS 9 yan is about the financial instruments or the investments. 16 talks about the PPE and others. Number 2, the summary of significant accounting policies na ginamit over the said element or transaction. Number 3, in order, the supporting information. Supporting info for items presented in the other FS. And number 4, other disclosures. So sa supporting, dyan nag-fall minsan yung mga additional information about the nature ng element na yun or ng account na yun, and of course, the computations. Okay? The order, content of the notes FS. Number 1 muna, bago number 2 ang nakalabas or nakapresent. Okay? That is for Philippine Accounting Standards 1. Last time for the body class, I left you notes about the superseding or yung papalit sa small. I hope you read important details. Or Second natin, nandyan pa ang mga taga Manila class. Are you still alive? Please comment in our chat box. Please type past 7 if you are there and you followed from beginning till the end. Sabihin, okay ang audio, makita niyo ang okay, PowerPoint. Thank you for your response. Past 7. Ayan, maraming sumagot din. I guess we're good with our audio now, no? How about for the baggy class? Questions, queries? Wala na kayo? Okay. Kung everything is working fine, let's continue. In past 7, kasi naputol, right? Past 1 is about the financial statements, and past 7 provides a separate accounting standard pertaining to the statement of cash flows. No? So we're gonna review here ano ba yung mga provisions or rules na pinafollow when we disclose and how the statement of cash flows be presented as part of the complete set of the financial statements. No? So we're going to review the contents under operating, investing, financing, and others. So the statement of cash flows, the definition provides info about the sources and utilization of historical changes for cash, huwag yung makalimutan, pati cash equivalents. Sometimes sa theory ng statement of cash flows, incomplete yung definition, siya na yung nagiging incorrect. Right? Kasi sabi ng past 7, cash and cash equivalents are all covered activities in this report. Okay? Of course, how do we define cash equivalents? Investment kasi talaga siya by its technical term. But by its nature, these are highly liquid investments. 3 months or less acquired before maturity, 3 months or less, right? Nagpo-fall siya under cash and cash equivalents na line item. Sa cash flow na statement, covered niya yun. No? Then there are 3 activities, of course, hindi naman napalitan yan. OIF, operating, investing, and financing activities. Cash and cash equivalents. So, these are the definitions. Summarize na lang natin. Pag operation, activities, or operating, all the elements or costs related to the day-to-day transactions. Or in short, current assets siya current liabilities. Kung napansin niyo, ano? And only operating activities is allowed for direct and indirect method. When we talk about direct methods sa past 7, we just get the total inflows, we deduct the total outflows ng cash activities. Direct method. Pag indirect methods, operating activities lang yan pwede. We start with the net income. Then, i-work back natin yung mga non-cash items. Pag may increase or decrease na, assets and current assets tsaka current liabilities din. Kung ang tinatanong ay ano bang mga accounts or elements ang affected when it comes to operating activities? Always answer anything related to current assets and current liabilities. Kasi operating nga, day to day. So yung mga current lagi. Investing activities, kasi long-term pag investments, right? Kaya non-current assets lang ang involved. So, yung mga in-acquire natin investments na long-term, mga PPEs, intangible assets. Pag in-acquire, outflow. Pag binenta, inflow. Mga binentang PPE and the rest. Pag investing activities, non-current asset. And finally, mga naiwan, financing activities. Ano ang mga ginamit na accounts or elements para ma-finance? Para ma-fund, mabonduhan yung operations, yung mga transactions ng entity natin. Financing. And there are only 2. Sabi ng FinMan nyo, sabi ng MS nyo, there are only 2 ways for us to fund or finance our activities. Through stocks and through bonds. Ang bonds, non-current liabilities. So nagpo-fall siya under non-operating liabilities, or in short, mostly all the non-current liabilities plus equity accounts. Pag through equity, of course, sabi ng MS, we sell shares. Financing lagan. So examples, ito provided na. From cash receipts, nakabenta tayo. Inflows, letter A. Letter B and C, nagbayad tayo. No? ng mga expenses, ng mga purchases, outflows lahat yan. D, cash receipts and payments from contracts held for dealing or trading purposes. So, lahat yun is falling under operating activities. Investing, ayun, nabanggit na natin, no? Pag bumili ka ng long-term investments ng PPEs, building, machinery, and the rest, outflow. Pag binenta, cash receipts, inflow. Ano pa yung iba doon? Letter C. Cash receipts and cash payments on derivative. Derivative or investments as well, right? So, lahat yun is falling under investing activities. Next, kung yan ay investing, malamang susunod ay financing. So as you can see now, from A to C, it talks about long-term liab and equity or shares. Finance activities. So, summary ang tatlong activities. So the core principle is that, as mentioned, when preparing the statement of cash flows, we include cash and cash equivalents items. And we exclude mga non-cash transactions. Unless we are using indirect method. Under operating lang si indirect method. Si investing and financing, if you remember, direct method lahat yan. Total inflows minus total outflows. Parang napabanggit ko, investment and so on kasi in the undergrad, I am handling MS. Kaya net present value ang naisip ko. So anyway, moving forward, some clarifications. What if the question is interest income, interest expense, dividend income, and dividends payments ng NBT natin? Ano ang classification niya? Kasi everything is involving cash, right? So here's a summary. May options, pero option 1 muna over option 2. No? So when it comes to choices, the best answer, option 1 is the first rule or guide. Pag interest income, tinanggap natin, operating activity yung cash receipts. Pag wala sa choices, si operating, investing. Option 2. So option 1 muna. Alternative yung sa option 2. Pag interest expense, operating din daw siya ever since. Alternative, pag hindi operating, pwede i-disclose as financing. Okay? Interest expense. Balik tayo naman natin, punta tayo sa dividend income. We received, that is operating. So far, no, yung tatlong items, ang first rule ng reporting nila, puro operating. Yung dividend payment ng company natin, siya lang yung financing. Number 4, no? If you can see here, the dividends paid to the owners, financing ang first rule ng presentation and reporting niya. Alternative, operating. So yun lang tatandaan nyo. Pag medyo nakakalimutan nyo, lahat ng related sa interest and dividend income, puro operating muna. No? However, dividend payments, siya lang naiba na financing. Lahat ng income, napansin nyo, option 2, puro investing ang option 2 niya. So, yun yung ways for us to remember things. Lahat ng related sa income or na-receive, di ba? Option 2 niya ay investing. Pero for the interest expense, ang option niya, financing. Pero yung difference na binayad natin ang option 2 niya, operating. Right? Wala naman sinabi, we stick with option 1 as the reporting rule for the said 4 items. As mentioned, the direct and indirect method available. The 3 activities for the direct method. Indirect method, only operating activities. The starting point is the net income. Then adjust the non-cash income and expenses and other items. And of course, any increase or decrease in current assets or current liabilities. Ano ba naalala niyo when it comes to indirect methods? Increases pag current assets or increases in current liability, no? Pag increases in current assets, baliktad yung effect niya, di ba? Ibinabawas yung increases. Sa operating activities cash flow, Pag decreases, dinadagdag pag current assets. Indirect method. Pero pag liabilities, pag increases ang change niya, plus din talaga siya. Pero pag current liability na decreases, minus din talaga siya. Indirect method lahat yun. Okay? That's for past 7. Questions? Let's check the Manila group. If you are still there and finish past 7, please type past 37. Past 37. Ayan, masok sila. How about for Baguio class? Past past 37. Yes, so I think we're good with Manila class. Nakaka real time sila. Okay? Thank you to the online class, the Manila class. For Baguio class, hindi ko lang tatanungin itong Manila class, no? Kasi they can take a break anytime, no? Manila people. For the Baguio class, we need a break. May dalawa pa tayong agenda. Past 37 and Kuya Pars 30. Yes, you need. So let's come back 6:20, everyone. Same with Manila people. I'll resume 6:20, okay? Because the Baguio people will take a break. Kayo, I know, you can take a break anytime. So let's resume 6:20. Okay? Huwag na natin gagawin. Baka Manila class, are you still there? Or this is 20? It's time for IPS, please. Hindi pa bakit? Ay, walang sumakas sa loob niya. Ah, isa. Others, Baguio class, are you okay now? Can we resume? We have a CO2 accounting standards to discuss. I hope the Manila class, you meet Baguio class already entered and joined their own Telegram group. Ano? So doon ko pinapost yung links related to CPAS and other further announcements kung meron man from the other professors. No? Napansin ko lang so far for the Baguio class, medyo walang messages. So siguro everything is fine so far. No? Walang request na the other subjects did not provided a copy or can we request a link for others and so on. I noticed for the Manila class every day they are requesting the finished subject doesn't have a did not provided us a link for a copy of all the discussions. So please share, sir. Ganyan sila. So every day sa body class tahimik. So please interact or feel free to ask questions or queries that you need. If we can help and kung may kailangan kayo from us, I'll try to reach to the other professors. Okay, same with Manila class. I think given naman na sa Manila class, everything may nababasa ako na request. Moving forward, okay, go. Let's have past 37 now. So we are jumping to different accounts that we can encounter in our theories, no? Related, something related to theories. No? Okay, the next provision is about PAS 37. Kung nakalimutan niya na, PAS 37 talks about estimated liabilities. So under estimated liabilities, it talks about provisions, contingent liabilities and contingent assets. Same with some remote accounts to be considered, no? PAS 37 liabilities. Under here, when we talk about provision, a provision is really a liability. This is a liability, this is an estimated liability that is really accounted for under the section of liabilities. Mostly they are current liabilities, but depending on its nature or the contracts involved, minsan may mga long-term din naman. Pero usually they are current liabilities. They are estimated liabilities. They are a liability of uncertain timing, or amount. However, the provisions differ from other liabilities because of the uncertainty of the timing or amount of expense required in settlement. No? Not all estimated liabilities should be accounted and reported as a liability. No? Ano na pala tandaan natin under this accounting standard? Number one, dapat probable siya. Remember, when we talk about probability, therefore, there are higher chances that this liability will be settled by the entity, right? Provisions. Probability. So, although some other lives are estimated, uncertainty is generally much less than for provisions. Siyempre, when we talk about probability, mas malaki nga yung chances na liability siya. Na liability talaga natin siya. Number two, percentage-wise, di ba? Siyempre, more than 50% yung chances. So, kung more than 51% or more, ibig sabihin 51% or more na isi-settle natin siya sa liability, probable yun, provision. Okay? Pero kasi pag possible lang siya, anong percentage? Pag possible kasi, we're not sure if it is a really a liability to be settled or not. So kung hindi sure, walang majority, 50% or less. Possible. Pag possible, baka contingent liability review. No? Pag contingent liability, hindi siya sa liability section. Notes, disclosure. Okay? Probable provisions, more than 50%, so 51% or more. Liability talaga siya with amounts. Possible, 50% or less, estimated lang, contingent lang siya, note disclosure lang siya. Sir, parang kung siya na-sure tayo, that is a certain liability, 100%. Examples, accounts payable, purchases, and the rest of the typical liabilities. So, pag certain, yung mga typical na liability accounts. Pag less than 100%, dito papasok yung concept ng estimated liabilities. Kanina sabi natin, pag possible lang yung liability, 50% or less, no disclosure lang siya. What if the possibility is 10% or less? Answer, isa siya, remote. Remote liability. Pag remote liability, ignore the liability. Kailan siya naging remote? 10% or less. Okay? Remote liability. So yun yung mga general terms or theories that we need to consider for estimated liabilities. So not all are actual liabilities. So another line item siya, sa pang theory. No? Summary ng sinabi ko, ito siya. Provision, present obligation, probable, right? And there's a quantifiable amount measured reliably. We recognize face of the balance sheet in the liability section. Contingent, possible. Yeah? A present obligation na not probable pero not measured, or present obligation but not measured reliably now. These are not recognized but only unknown disclosure. Contingent liability. Okay? Huwag yung pagbabalik na rin yung terms. As mentioned, ito yung provisions. These are really liabilities that will be reported in the section of the statement of financial position in the liability section. As you can see, these are practically the liability definition from PAS 1. Ang dumagdag lang, number 3, reliable estimates. Pala na si financial accounting, when we talk about reliable estimates, whether you are doing the average, the best estimate, di ba? Best estimate na usapan. As a summary, guys, remote obligation, we do nothing, we ignore. Hindi siya notes, disclosure, hindi rin siya face ng statement of financial position. Disclose lang doon, no disclosure pag present obligation. Just disclose in the notes. Do not accrue, so walang amounts. Walang balance sheet na disclosure. Possible lang siya. As mentioned here, the measurement basis is the best estimated. So usually, in-estimate ng legal experts and other professionals related to the said transactions. But if it involves a large population of items, remember yung parang like sa lahat ng binenta nating products natin, ano ang chances na may babalik na warranties, mga magpapapalit ng damaged goods, di ba? Mga percentage yan. Expected value ba yung tawag doon? Or, kung binigyan ka ng range, the mid, the average. Binigyan ka number 3, expected outcome in a range. Range means the lowest possible amount na isi-settle versus the highest and anything in between. No? Answer, average. Average means midpoint. No? So mga measurements, no? Provisions or liability, estimated liabilities here. Present value, can we use present value as well in the provisions or estimated liability calculations? Answer, yes. Sabi na rito, we can consider the time value of money if it is material. Conclusion, kaya medyo din mo siya na-encounter sa intermediate accounting, mostly kasi are current. Kaya halos walang present value. Pero sabi niya, kung material daw ang time value of money, we can use the present value for such. So mostly long-term, no? Especially yung mga long-term warranties. Like 5 years, 10 years, and anything beyond that. 1 year, no? So pwede. Expected disposal of assets. So any gains from the expected disposal of assets shall not be taken into account in measuring a provision. So gains shall be recognized only when the assets are actually disposed. So hindi natin nineto. Walang usapang net amount na usapang gains or any returns, no, with the expected disposal ng assets. Siyempre, we talk about the provisions, we talk about the liability kasi of the said account or transaction. Reimbursements, di ba? Pag where some or all of the expenditure required in setting a provision is expected to be reimbursed by another party, the reimbursement is recognized only when it is virtually certain na the reimbursement will be received if the entity settles the obligation. Reimbursement, therefore, will be treated as a separate asset. Because provisions is a direct liability. So, any reimbursements daw na usapay, separate asset siya, receivable siya, no? Or other receivables. In the same ng P&L and OCI, the expenses relating to a provision may be presented as the net amount of the reimbursement. Additional provisions mentioned in this standard mga reimbursements. Sa intermediate accounting naman, pag mga usapang premiums ito, no? Saka warranties and others. Pag may cash value, binabawas dun sa estimated amount. Changes in the provisions. So, provisions will be reviewed at the end, lagi, ng reporting period and adjusted to reflect the current best estimate. So, if it is no longer probable that an outflow of resources embody the economic benefits will be required to settle the obligation, wala nang provision. Siyempre, pag natapos na yung warranties, tapos na yung marketing, promotion, di ba? Doon lumalabas yung mga provisions usually. And of course, the settlement of litigation or cases. The provision will be reversed. Kung may naiwan pa, right? Because estimated liability yan eh. Rine-record talaga natin siya when it comes to the total amount na mineasure natin. Ito, as mentioned, the product warranties and guarantees. If a customer has the option to purchase a warranty separately, ito, updated na ito, kaya nailagay na natin dyan. The revenue related is accounted na daw under PFRs 15. No? Balance FR for the revenue contracts. Nausapan. Dati kasi purely under PAS 37 lang din talaga eh. Pero po yung updated, reflected in our syllabus. Yan, no? Any warranty is accounted for in accordance with PFRS 15 or the revenue standards if the customer has the option to purchase a warranty separately. Pag wala, liability daw siya purely under PAS 37. Right? Yun yung update dyan for PAS 37 or the provisions. Premiums. Yeah. A customer option to acquire additional goods or services for free or a discount is accounted under PFRS 15. If the option provides the customer a material right that the customer would not receive without entering into the contract. A customer option that does not provide the customer with a material right is not accounted under PFRS 15, but under PAS 37. So, mga additional, mga add-ons na usapan siya. For free or a discount rate. So, revenue kasi related eh. Sa revenue siya related. So, pag may mga ganong options, mostly and material daw siya, we apply the provisions accounting under PFRS 15 for revenues. Nausapan na siya. Hindi na siya liability accounting. Pero kung wala naman daw, walang ganong rights or options, PAS 37 ang accounting. Guarantees. No? So, who is the guarantee? Kumbaga ito yung third party na nag-support in case we cannot pay the liability. No? Ano yung effect? Guarantee for indebtedness of others. A provision for the said transaction is recognized when it becomes probable na tayo na talaga magbabayad. That the entity will be held liable for the guarantee. So, shows when the original debtor defaults or hindi nagbayad. No? So, pag-guarantee contract, guarantee contract, hindi siya recognized as liability. Pero if it is probable na tayo talaga magbabayad ng hindi mabayarang loan or utang ng katransact natin, no, kasi parang ikaw yung third person or third party. There's a debtor and creditor. Si debtor, tinawag ang entity natin na pag hindi makabayad si debtor, tayo ang magsisettle. Tayo si guarantee na sinatawag. No? Kailan siya ma-recognize liability? Pag probable na tayo na as a guarantee ang magbabayad ng obligation. Pag wala, do not do anything muna when it comes to the liability side. Guarantee for indebtedness of others. Contingent assets, ang summary, mas mababa ang measurements or disclosure ng contingent assets compared sa pinag-uusapan natin contingent liabilities. No? Because as you can notice, pag ang contingent asset, so di tayo sure kung talagang asset siya. Kaya contingent asset, pag probable, notes disclosure lang daw siya. Walang lumabas sa PAS 1 kanina na contingent asset is a minimum line item under asset section. Diba? Kasi nga, itong reason. Sabi ng PAS 37, if there is a probability na magiging asset natin yung isang item or yung isang instrument, pero hindi pa sure kasi hindi niya nami-meet yung definition ng element na asset, disclosure lang daw sa notes and do not recognize any amount. Sabi niya, do not recognize or approve. Disclose only, no disclosure. Pero kung possible lang daw siya, hindi tayo sure kung yung instrument ay magiging asset in the future, contingent asset is possible, ignore. Wag notes, wag disclose sa liability section. And of course, mas lalo naman kung remote, yung contingent asset, do nothing as well or ignore. No? So, sa contingent asset lang siya na probable, doon lang may notes disclosure. The rest we ignore the contingent asset. Questions for past 37? Just check ng Manila people. Do you have questions, Manila people? If not, please type PFRS 13. Wait, meron. Mag-upload naman, ma-upload naman po yung presentation, right? Tignan ko kung hindi ko sure. Yes, pwede ko lang. As mentioned in the orientation, yes. No? Sa CPAS, nag-upload ako sa Baguio class release ng Drive. So later, I'll have another January 15 drive for everyone. Kasi parehas tayo lang in-over. Okay? Ay, the Baguio class, can you access the drive last time? Di ba nakita ko? Yes daw. So, Manila class, confirm, in-upload ko. Okay. Kung wala naman further questions, let's talk about the last agenda for tonight. We have here, ito, baka hindi masyadong familiar or hindi nababanggit, pero minsan may paisa-isa talking about fair value measurements. No? So, in PFRS 13, this is a separate standard for this measurement, fair value. So dito, hindi lang siya define as a fair value itself. Dito natin makikita yung hierarchy ng measurements, no? Fair value, kung ano ang unang gagamitin natin para ma-recognize natin na fair value talaga yung measurement. Answer, PFRS 13. Okay? So first, syempre, PFRS 13 talks about the application and the fair value measurement and any related disclosures. Tsaka mga rules pertaining to the use or recognition ng fair value as an amount. Definition. Sabi, pag PFRS 13, ito ang definition ng fair value. The price that would be received to sell the asset or paid to transfer a liability in an orderly transaction between the market participants at the measurement date. Ano? In short, ang synonymous ng fair value ay market value or any acceptable price or agreed price between the buyer and the seller. Fair value. Okay? So there are two parties involved, if you can notice. The selling side and the buying side. Isa nagre-receive, isa nagpipay. Fair value measurement. No? Diba? Remember last time class conceptual framework, there are a lot of measurements, the current cost or the historical cost, and kasama si fair value. PFR 13 definition. No? The fair value is based on the market price of the asset. First, sa principal market muna. Or kung walang principal market, ang answer, the most advantageous market or yung comparable market na tinatawag sa accounting. In the absence of a principal market. No? Siyempre, let's say for example, we are the investor in a certain investment company, may sinusunod silang fair value dyan. Ever wonder na pag may binibili kang isa at magkakanvas ka pa ng same product or item or services, halos magkakapares lang sila. So mostly, ito yung tinatawag na fair value in the principal market. Kasi yung ating ina-acquire na asset, kung asset man siya, ay have the same amount as compared to other sellers as well. No? Principal market, same industry in short. Same nature, same follow the rules or guides or provisions, ganun. Principal market. Kung wala, the most advantageous market. Just in case fair value is not given, sabi ng standards, pwede na natin ma-compute yun sa context. Whereas, the market price under the principal market or the most advantageous market minus any transport costs. Lalabas na daw yung fair value na usapan. The market price used in measuring fair value is not adjusted for any transaction costs. No? Take note, what is adjusted for any transport costs? So minsan, pinilito lang tayo ng questions. Sinasabi, ang fair value is the market price minus the transaction cost. Ang provisions ng fair value, hindi pa rin naman siya nagpalit at present time. Ang binabawas doon, transport cost for the freight. Hindi nakaka-familiar. Ang transaction cost, hindi ini-ignore, hindi sinasama. When it comes to fair value computation or measurement. Okay? Transaction cost, ini-ignore. Hindi sinasama. Ang sinasama, the transportation cost. So be careful. Baka saan yung 1 point na kung pinagpalit nila yan. So ang unang basis muna ay transport costs. Ilabawas, take note. Ngayon, the hierarchy. Yan. So, I'm talking na lang of theory questions here. Fair value hierarchy yung tawag. Level 1 muna ang gagamitin over level 2 and 3. Over level 2 or 3. Okay? Because the level 1 is the most reliable fair value basis. Ano bang nakapaloob sa level 1? The observable inputs that reflect quoted prices. So, the key term is quoted prices. Hindi siya kapareho ng level 2 and 3. The quoted prices for the said identical asset na binibili natin or identical life na binabayad natin or sinisettle. Take note in active markets. So, there are two key terms, no? If you remember, the level 1 fair value hierarchy, the most reliable one, based on the quoted price and based on the active market. Pag pinaghiwalay, hindi tayo sure dyan for the level 1, dapat magkasama. Parang most reliable. Pick the level 2 kung pinaghiwalay yung level 1. Kasi sa level 2, the inputs other than quoted price ang basis ng fair value. Dito na papasok si management accounting, forecasting, and others. Kung external, sabi niya rito that are observable kasi for the asset or liability, either directly or through corroboration with observable data. Corroboration means connection. You connect the different prices. You relate one price over the other. Kung medyo magkakamukha, magkakalapit, pag plinat mo, yung pinaka-average, baka yun ang fair value daw based on the observable data. So, pag-usapang researches, external inputs, ano yan, nagsisurvey, level 2 yun, observable data. Observable amount. That's the only second basis of fair value. Kailan ka lang natin gagamitin sa level 2 pag wala si level 1. Walang quoted price, walang active market. Mga business industry or banking people here, you know what is quoted price, you know what is active markets, right? So, yun daw unang basis ng fair value hierarchy. Kung wala, level 3, dito na papasok na si MA purely and si Friedman kasi internal analysis or decision making na siya. There are no observable data or prices and quoted prices. Level 3, unobservable inputs. Assumptions, forecasting, budgeting. Di ba? Doon lahat mapasok sa internal reports. Yun ang huling basis. The least reliable. So just in case you encounter this question, na anong pinakaunang basis ng fair value hierarchy? Quoted price. Pero dapat galing sa active market. Least reliable, unobservable data, or any assumptions, any budgeted amounts or forecasts na nanggaling internally yun. Yun ang pinaka-least reliable. So, pag nakasulat naman siya, which is hierarchy, anong nauna, over the other, so i-arrange nyo. Level 1 muna, bago level 2 and 3. Okay? PFRS 13. So, actually, yung na-encounter ko mga questions doon sa PFRS 13. Yung sa hierarchy side, and of course, the different combinations. And this one, the formula na side, yun lang ang isama ko halos. And mga questions ko ay related doon. If you can read the PFRS 13 further, mahaba kasi yun Ang dami yung binabanggit. Inputs or insights. Pero I summarize the most important most important info beyond the definitions. PFRS 13. Manila Group, ibigyan siya kay calendar. That's the last accounting standard for today's session. So, Manila class, dito sa mga na-late sa Manila class, you take the screenshot. This is the updated CPAS schedule. Ano? Manila class Netflix, 1 to 3, 3 to 1. Sana na-screenshot mo na. For the Baguio class, ito yung updated po natin sa mga late. I'm gonna flash now. Okay. So, as you can see, we're done. Baguio class. Class 1, 13, 37, class 7. Yung mga agenda natin sa next meeting for my Baguio class, we're gonna solve together or answer together the quizzers. So, later, pag uwi nyo, check our Telegram group again, Baguio class. I'm gonna provide another link for you to access all the January 15 files plus another quizzer for January 15 topics. Na? So dalhin nyo pareho yan, January 8 saka 15 na quizzers kasi on January 22, Baguio class lang, Baguio class only, we're gonna answer it together. No? From there, pag natapos tayo ng January 22, Baguio class, I'm gonna post quiz 1, the recorded quiz, the recorded online quiz, the graded online quiz 1 on January 22 after our session. Coverage, of course, January 8 and 15 sessions. Okay? From then on, January 29 onwards, as you can notice, ito, nasa side group ko yung mga nakasulat na quizzes. No? Bago class, meron na ba kayong na-receive na access sa Canvas?
Yes.
Ayun, bago class to. Sorry, Manila Bips. Nauna sila ng 1 week, so you should wait. Ilang days kayo naghintay nung nag-umpisa tayo? Last week na ibigay na? Ngayon lang, Manila class, ngayon lang daw binigay yung Baguio access ng Canvas. So please don't worry, dalating yan. Saan binigay? Email, personal email address, Manila people. As I mentioned to you in the orientation. So kung tama yung personal email address nyo, doon ibibigay. Pero as you can see here, no, nauna ng 1 week yung Baguio class, ngayon lang nila na-receive. So kung ngayon ang first week ng Manila class, just wait further. Ang pinakamatagal na next week. Okay? Manila class. Baguio Eve. At magpaalam na tayo muna sa Manila class. So, please check our Telegram account, Manila class. I'm gonna provide a link after that for the drive, for the different files and the recorded session, plus your attendance, Manila people. Sa Telegram ko ilalagay yung attendance for the Google form ng Manila people. Ha? So, let's wait later. No? Mag-wrap up lang muna. So, let's say goodbye to the Manila class. Goodbye, diba? So, mag-goodbye daw sila. Oh. Bye!